This week on the Yoakum Strength Podcast, we had the pleasure of the Tim Riley joining us. Tim is a strength coach out of Austin, Texas, who has a ton of different projects going on. Throughout the episode, we talked about almost all of them, including his own podcast, starting up Apex, his role in NFL Combine Prep, and lastly, about his new gym opening up this spring, which is shaping up to be absolutely insane. As always, thanks for listening and enjoy the episode.
Before we hit the intro music, I wanted to introduce to you guys the Yoakum Strength Insider. The Yoakum Strength Insider is our online training platform that takes all of the ideas that we talk about on this podcast and implements them into a program that is available to you at the touch of your fingers. Our goal with the Yoakum Strength Insider is to create better movers, to level up your life, and to move forward from where you are. We do this in a holistic fashion. Not only will you receive a program that has helped hundreds of people become better movers, you'll also receive access to our app that allows you to track everything, has video links for all exercises, and allows you to be in constant communication with the Yoakum Strength coach. Along with this, you'll get our 30-page PDF nutrition and lifestyle guidelines. That includes everything from what to eat, how much of it to eat, why we're eating it, meditation habits, and other lifestyle habits that we implement with our clients to really level up their lives. If you're interested in trying out one of these programs, use Podcast 25 in the discount section right before you pay for 25% off your first program. Boom.
This is the Yoakum Strength Podcast. Take the leap down the rabbit hole with us as we interview elite level guests to unravel what high performance really is.
My girlfriend hates when I do that impersonation in public places. We won't discuss it. We're recording now.
All right, well, Tim, welcome to the podcast. Excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me, boys. I'm super excited. We've already been having too much fun off air.
Yeah. So I went back and listened to our very first podcast, Tim. This was before you and I knew each other at all. I'm pretty sure this was like our first conversation, was our first podcast. And I think I had
Whoa.
Will or Jake or somebody had said your name. And I was like, hey, should I have him on a podcast? Like, who is this guy? Like, no, this dude's fucking legit. Like, get him on the podcast. And from that podcast, everything in the Tim Riley world has fucking exploded, dude. Like you changed gyms to, like, your gym already was fucking insane, and now it's even more insane. You got your own gym coming out. You have the Apex coming out. You have the Combine stuff coming on. Like, dude, what happened? Did you sacrifice a lamb to the gains gods, or what was the journey?
It was actually a human. Yeah,
A human.
no, you don't get that kind of meteoric change by just like a regular mammal. It has to be human blood. I won't go into more details because there is like a statute of limitations around that sort of thing. But it's really working. So for anybody, if things aren't going well for you, just kill somebody. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Actually, you can't just kill someone. There's like a whole ritual, a thing that you have to do. But yeah, dude, I mean, I don't know. You just talking about how much has changed. I'm kind of having a moment right now where it's like, it's surreal because a lot has happened. And yeah, like these are all things that like I dreamed about. And there was like a point in time where I thought like, how am I ever gonna, like, how is this ever gonna come to fruition, or how is it ever gonna happen? And it's happening. And you know what's funny about that though, boys, is like, for the longest time, it's like, okay, I'm like doing everything I can to like, get to these places professionally that I like want to achieve. But even more so, it's like the challenge of like, can I do it? And then I get to those places. And now the only thing I can think about is like, because like, I think a common thread in my personal and professional career is like, once I get this, or once I do that, I'm going to be like satisfied, or like that's it. And like that's not the case at all. It's like, what's next? Like, how can I make it better? Like, how can I, you know what I mean? So and yeah, like I think I have this perpetual thing where it's like I never actually feel accomplishment. I just feel relief I didn't fuck it up. You know what I mean? Like so like that's where I'm at. Like I'm super excited. I'm very fortunate. Like I'm excited about the gym. I'm excited about Apex. The podcast is doing well. The combine with XPE, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I can't even believe that this is my life and that this is happening. But also there is this like element too, where it's like, that's a lot of stuff, and like, don't screw it up. You know what I mean?
Give me a day in the life of like Tim Riley's brain. So I think the podcast is a good example here, where you had started off doing the coach 'em up, where like you went to go train with a couple people, you made like a couple YouTubes, and for the OG fans, you know what I mean, like the coach 'em up,
Oh
and then
my
you like,
God,
yeah, then you
yes.
switched it back, like
Coach me up.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, you know what I mean? Like how is what's like the process when you go about like making these ideas? Like is it like, okay, this is kind of it. I'm gonna go like make this is the gym like idea. Like where do these things come from? Like how do you like because you do have so much shit going on right now. It's crazy.
Yeah. So the podcast is wild because when I started it, it was Coach Me Up, and I did 4 episodes. It was Grant Fowler, Tyler Williamson, Jake Tora, and Daniel Bach. Okay. And this was like right after COVID,
Yeah.
I think. And I'm shooting it on my iPhone, and it's the podcast and like a training series. So the whole idea was that I'm going to do a podcast first half, and then second half, this person is going to take me through a workout, which by the way is still very much so what I'm trying to accomplish with the current Coach Up podcast. But like I had this realization at that time where I'm like trying to edit all this stuff myself, the amount of time, effort, and energy going into it, like the quality sucked. You know what I mean? Like it was just not good. I didn't even have microphones because I didn't have money to buy microphones. You know what I'm saying? And so like as much as I loved doing it, I didn't have the skills, and I didn't have the money or the time to fucking do it the way that I wanted to. And so it was like one of those things like I had to like it killed me, but I knew that I had to shelf it until like I was at a place where I could actually do it the way that I wanted to do it. And then fast forward like 4 years later, I'm at Collective and they open up a podcast studio in the gym. And I'm at a place where like I'm making more money because I'm training more clients, and I'm just in a better gym with a demographic that is okay with spending a decent amount of money on personal training. And even then though, dude, like I had a savings account at that point. And then after the first 3 months of getting that podcast off the ground, doing it with that level of editing and using that studio, I had $0 in my savings account. Like I went completely broke. And I even so I and that which is why I brought on Zach Zillner to help me get it off the ground. One, I was like, he and I together are gonna rip, right? Like we're gonna have a good time. But number two, I was like, I need some help getting this thing off the ground. So I like really had to sell him on the idea that this podcast was going to be worth it, you know, because like he low key went broke too. Like it cost a lot of money, and it wasn't for many, many months until we were able to like get sponsors. And so it was definitely a leap of faith. So glad that I took it. But yeah, man, it was like, that was one of those things where for 4 years, I was on and off thinking about it a lot, and it finally came to fruition.
What's the support staff look like for that? Because I think that's one thing that people don't ever really take into consideration. They see a sweet podcast, they see some sweet content come out, and they're like, look at it for 3 seconds and swipe up or something. Look at a quick clip, and they don't realize that there's multiple people probably making their livelihoods off of creating this.
Dude, so that's such a great question. It's so true. And I have such a great, deep appreciation for, first of all, if anyone has had a podcast, I don't give a fuck what the production quality is or anything. Like if you've been doing it for longer than a year, bro, and consistently doing podcasts, you are accomplishing something. It is hard. You have to find guests. You have to coordinate with those guests to schedule a time. Austin, how easy was it for you to schedule a time with me?
Well, the only
It
way
was
I
a
got you
nightmare,
on is I said
right?
you're texting me like Jake Tura, and you're like, fuck, I gotta get back to him.
I got it, and it's not like because any one person is like not one. It's just everyone's busy, dude.
Dude, I'm the same
Everyone's
fucking way
like,
when people ask me
you
too. I'm
know,
like, fuck, I totally
and then
forgot about that, dude.
it doesn't help. I have like crippling ADHD. Like I will read a text message. I'm like, this is important. I should respond to this right now. And then someone says, hey, Tim, can you help me with this? I put the phone down. The text is dead to me. It never happened. It's like it completely is erased from my mind. And it's only at the end of the night when I go back through my text messages. And then I have a panic attack, right? Because I'm in bed. It's 12:30. I'm counting down the amount of hours I have before I have to wake up, right? So I'm already there. And then I see that I didn't respond to Austin Yoakum. And I'm like, fuck, you know? Anyway, yeah, so the amount of production, I mean, dude, like for our show, to do it like in a professional studio, to have it professionally edited, to have 4 clips per episode, to have thumbnails go to Spotify and YouTube, to have all that stuff uploaded, and to have a schedule, to reach out to people, to coordinate with their schedules, to do it months in advance so that you can release every single Tuesday, no matter what. Like it's a full time job. And I recognized immediately that like I had to outsource virtually all of that stuff, to the precise extent that I could afford to, which again was threading a needle. But I mean, at a minimum, in those first several months, it was 5 grand a month just to get things going. Yeah. And it's like more expensive now. I won't go into detail, but it's like it's more, right? And so, but part of that is also it's like, I'm doing more podcasts. And then like for me too, it's like because scheduling is so difficult, like I already have a busy life. I have a daughter, I'm working with athletes, I'm training clients. And then it's like you have to avail yourself to other people's schedules if you want to make it happen, right? Like someone's going to fly in from California to do the podcast. Like, hey, but I can only do it Tuesday. It's like, all right, well, let's fucking figure it out, make it happen. I guess I'm doing a podcast at 6 p.m. It just is what it is. So there is like a tremendous amount of time, effort, energy, and frankly, like money that goes into it. And like I used to listen to sponsors on people's podcasts, and I would think to myself, "Oh Christ, here we go, another Saks ad, or like or whatever." And or another like Roku ad or something, and I would get aggravated. Now it's like I completely understand it. Like this podcaster is fighting for their life trying to pay the bills to get this podcast. Unless you're Chris Williamson, bro, like you're not like getting rich off the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like your platform has to be really big. It's expensive to do it well. It just is.
When did you realize it was going to work? Like, when did you realize Coach 'em Up was like on the path to be where it's at right now? Where it's, I mean, #1 fitness podcast right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's cooking.
It's cooking, baby.
It's
You
cooking.
said it. Here we
It's
go.
Cooking.
Well,
did you have like
honestly,
a moment where you felt it?
it was Mike Israetel.
Yeah.
So by the way, every guest we have, it's me sliding in their DMs. There is not a guest I've had on the show that hasn't been a byproduct of me. Literally, most of these people I don't know. I've only like followed them from afar. It's me sliding in their DMs and being like, hey, my name's Tim and I love your stuff. Here's why. Would love to have you on the podcast if you're willing and interested. That's usually almost the exact message every time. And I did that with Mike Israetel. And look, Mike is like famous. And I was fully expecting him not to respond. And he did. Not only did he respond, but like we were trying to coordinate it because he was in town and he's like, hey, can't do it. I'll circle back with you next time I'm in Austin. And I'm thinking, sure. Yeah, sure you will. And like the podcast is like not, we have like maybe 1,500 followers on our page. Like we've only done like 15, 20 episodes. Like we're still early. And sure enough, a couple months later, he DMs me back and he's like, hey, you still down to do the pod? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I am.
I'll see if I can make it fit my schedule.
Yeah. And I was like, when does your, and again, this is like coming down to, and this is like any professional endeavor I've chased. Like, I think people say they're like, I want to do, insert thing. And it's like, okay, but like, are your actions actually demonstrating that what your mouth is saying? And like, I reached out to him. I'm like, you tell me the day and time. And he was like, I have this window. I said, done. And I did everything I had to do on my end to reorganize my schedule, to clear it, to get things figured out, to make sure that I was going to be available at that time. And that may seem like a simple, like, duh thing, but like, you don't, like, my experience was like, it's not, things aren't working because I did that one time. It's because I consistently have made it a priority to make that work. Right. But anyway, he DMs me. He's like, hey, let's do it. And then he shows up and absolutely crushes it. And we have a wonderful conversation. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh, like and I'll say this too, like working with the pros, like I used to hold people that had like big social media followings or like, that were pro athletes on like this, like a little bit of a, pedestal, like they were there. And after working with pro football players for a long time, I recognized like, there's nobody, I don't give a fuck how much money they have, how big their following is. Like you breathe air, buddy, and like there's, and so like even meeting with Mike, like there was none of that like ego or like, you know what I'm saying? And so, but that was just like confirmation as it pertains to the podcast that like there is nobody that's off the table and there isn't anyone who's better than me and I'm not better than anybody. Right. Like I can meet people precisely where they're at. And after that first one went out and like Mike, dude, like he catches a lot of heat online. And like honestly, he's a wild motherfucker. Like he says some shit sometimes. I'm like, brother, you gotta calm the fuck down, right? But he reposted every single one of our clips. He collabed with us. His team, he loved how well the podcast went so much. His content team pulled their own clips and was collabing it with us. So like he went above and beyond to help out the show, to do a great job, and to continue to promote it after. Just and no one made him do that. He did that. So I credit Mike Israetel a lot for that like initial big bump. And then, like there's a saying, it takes money to make money. Well, that's fucking true. And you know what else it takes? For you to get some social clout, right? For people to view you as reputable, and this is the ugly truth, like you got to land a couple of big fish for people to be able to look and say, oh, they've had this person on and that person on, and then they're willing to. Now whether that's like fair or right, I don't necessarily agree with that, but there is an element of like if you want it to reach a lot of people and you want to have a big impact, then like it does require you to kind of take some swings on some bigger guests.
Dude, people
Um,
get mad about that all the time about how like you need to yeah, it's like you need the clout, you need the whatever. But it's like think about yourself when you're looking at people's pages. Somebody could have the most intelligent, awesome post ever, but if you go to their page and it's like 200 followers, people are not looking at it, you know? That same
yeah,
person 10 weeks later has 2,000 or 20,000 or whatever it is. You're going to their page and paying more attention. You know what I mean? It's like it's the same thing you do that you get mad at like other people for doing. And like that was a big thing for the podcast as well. Is like looking at it's like, yeah, no shit, they don't want to come on your podcast, dude. You have 4,000 followers right now, bro. Like that's okay. Just go build your following and then come back to them, circle back to them, ask them to come back on again. And it's a kind of like a little funny journey that we kind of all do ourselves and then get mad when people do it to us.
exactly. 100%. Yeah.
And then
It's so true.
this podcast though is kind of cool because it looks like this is when everything started to, at least for me, just from the outside, Jim, like watching from everything that was like starting to take off, watching the momentum piece. It's like this was kind of the catalyst for all of the other things that you started to do. Like maybe it was the connections, maybe it was just like for me, it's like a lot of it's just talking to other cool people and you get like the brain rolling and like just like dude, hanging out with you in Austin, every single time I hang out with you in Austin, I get inspired to like go do more because I'm like, holy fuck, dude. One, I just shook hands with more millionaires in like 4 minutes at that C4 gym than I ever have in my entire life. And two, it's just like talking to you and like the energy that you have towards this stuff. But that kind of kick started the Apex type stuff, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
it did.
what was that journey like, dude? Because that's a
All
total
right.
like different offshoot from the same baby that you had.
So when I was at Collective, I always had this dream of doing, and I'd been creating this. Like I want to make, because I love combine training. I love training like that. And I know, like, look at our circle, Austin. Like most of the dudes that we have our, we have our like group threads that like
Yeah.
no one else can ever find out about. You know what I'm saying? Like we have like our groups of people in the fitness space. And like the commonalities is like we all like to train a certain way. We like to train to be athletic. We're constantly pushing the limits. By the way, your Olympic lifting journey, I love it, dude.
4 or 5 will fall.
It will fall, dude. I can't wait. I will be there, front row seats. Um, but like I always knew, and selfishly, like I wanted a competition, like I wanted something to train for, like that. That could like give me some objective things to chase after, as far as like running fast and jumping high and just being a weapon, being a unit. Um, And so I wanted to start something at Collective, my old gym, called the Collective Combine, right? And like I was thinking small of just like, hey, like what if we put on an event and it was essentially like exactly the NFL Combine, right? And then like for one reason or another, it just like never happened, and I didn't have any support there, and like no one really got that excited about it. Like I was the only one excited about it, and so and like I was kind of on my way out, and so I just like it wasn't time. And then I'm having people on the podcast and like Josh Bridges and Adam Klink and like these high level CrossFit World Fitness Project, World Fitness Project, high rocks, hybrid athlete types. I'm realizing like they're like what they're doing, what they're training for is awesome. It's not what I like, but they have something to train for, dude. And I just talked about it on the podcast one day, and where I was with Blaine, and I was like, dude, I've been, chewing on this idea where it's basically an NFL combine meets a track meet, meets a block party. And, it's like these events, like I had already been like mapping it out in my brain. It had been something I've been chewing on for like years at this point. And the minute I talked about it on that podcast, dude, it became real, and people started DMing me about it. And like I even said the name, I was like, I want to call it Apex. And people start DMing me about it. And so I'm like, damn, okay, like this might be something. And then I had the Coach 'em Up conference. Okay. Zach and I had this conference in Austin, Texas, and like half of the crowd was like, when are you doing the first Apex competition? And I was like, okay. Because like honestly, dude, like there was part of me, like as much as I like loved the idea and romanticized the idea about it, like I knew, I was like, fuck, do I really want to do another thing? Like it's gonna be like I'm already working hard. I don't want to work more harder, Like, that sucks, but I, once I spoke it and put it out, sort of into the universe, and I got that feedback, like what my gut was telling me is like, I can't ignore this, and I've got to at least give it a shot. And I started off with a really small one at the C4 Performance Center. I only invited like 15, 20 people, just like local Austin people, to like give it a dry run to see if like, is this even cool? Will people even like it? And dude, just from the content from that, it blew up. The Instagram page blew up. People were, I've got people from Switzerland and Italy and Australia. When are you going to do it here? I'm like, brother, do it there. I don't even know what I'm doing here. And then we put on the first big one, and like part of it was like, I created the Apex score because like I needed to have an objective number anyone could train towards to like improve their overall athleticism. And like, we're rolling out the website, like an updated website where like you're gonna be able to like track and save your progress. And you're gonna like, if you're a member to the site, you're going to be able to get access to tickets before other people. We're doing 4 next year in 2026.
Fuck yeah,
Right
dude.
now, it's looking like Austin, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Chicago, and LA. Y'all don't hold me to that. It might change a little, but like it's blown up. And I got to tell you, like I'm excited about a lot of the stuff that I've got going on. The thing I'm most excited about that like gets me like fired up is it's fucking Apex, man. Like I can't wait to compete in April. I'm bringing it.
One thing that you were talking about is how like ideas flow from one thing to the other. Like you went
Hmm.
all in on the podcast, like the Apex stuff came from the podcast. And now I'm starting to see you workshopping the different Apex events, like workshop the weights, the rules. And now I think I'm even starting to see different people like, hey, this is an Apex training program. And now there's just so many things stemming from something that's stemming from another. When do you say no to things though? Because I feel like
Yeah.
it turns into a thing of I have so much going on. I'm sure you have multiple DMs. Hey, what's the training program to get good at this? Can you make me one? And you're like, there's probably a lot out there already, man. I don't want to make a specific one.
So that's such a good question. So like so much about like what I've been able to do up to this point is just saying yes. And a lesson that I've been learning lately is that works for a really long time. And I think it's absolutely imperative. And, but also now I'm at a place where I absolutely have to say no. And it actually didn't start because like I was actively saying no to things. It was because I got so spread thin that I was missing. So like my DMs right now, dude, I'm managing all of those social media pages, by the way, all of them, right? Still, like my DMs are a war zone. Like I may not, if you DM me, I might not see it for a month or ever, right? And I'm someone up to this point who's like pride himself. I'm like, if you DM me, I'm gonna respond, you know? And now it's like it's unmanageable. I can't. And like going through like little things like that as I've grown and as all these other things around me have grown, where it's not in my nature to say no. But it's true. Like if I continue to say yes to other things, there's no way I'm going to be able to show up and focus on the things that I've already got that are really special that I'm excited about. So like I'm at that place where the answer is unequivocally fuck no. You know what I mean? Like I can't, there's nothing else. And honestly, my cup is really full in the sense where like I'm so excited about the things that I have going on that I don't want, there's like nothing, I don't, for this is for the first time in my career, like there isn't like a thing where I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool if I was doing that, or really, like I'm doing all the things that I ever dreamed of being like awesome. Now it's like, it's a different thread where it's like, I want to take these things, the podcast, the Apex, Combine Prep, the gym, and I want to do them better than everybody. And even if I can't, I'm going to fucking try. And I bet I do a pretty good job, you know? So yeah, that's where I'm at. And then but of course I'll always say yes to, this podcast. I mean, come on, you know.
We got rip it, baby. Well, that's one of the things, dude, is like when people, anybody that has met you know your energy is like through the roof, right? And I think that's a good like message for people. It's like it's not about work-life balance or like doing all the things. It's like doing the right things. It's working on the right things. And that's one thing I've noticed is like if I'm adding stuff to my plate that adds stuff to my life, it's a good trade. Like it makes me even more fired up. It makes me more present. It makes me more passionate about what I was doing. Dude, but when I was working fucking collegiate strength conditioning, everything made me want to shoot myself in the head because it was such a
Yes.
drain on my life, dude. I'm like, so it's like it's not about this like magic balance of like how much time are you working, how much time are you resting. It's like you can work
Mm-mm.
a lot. Tim is working a lot. It's just working a lot on the right things that like fill your cup energy wise as well.
Hmm. Yeah, you nailed it. And like there are things like I've scaled back on in-person training. In fact, when the gym opens March 1st, the transition that's going to occur is like I'm no longer training people. Like I'm going to do combine prep. I'll have athletes here that I work with in the city and stuff, but like my shift is gonna, because I just like I love it, and I'm still gonna get what I need from training by working with
Yep.
athletes. But like, gone are the days of, I've trained Gen Pop my entire career. I can't do it anymore. I don't have the time. Like, my local high school kids, like, the summer speed group I've been doing the past 3 years, done, gone. So like there are definitely changes on the horizon, so that like I can continue to focus on these things that I'm most excited about. And it's weird getting to that place because on one end, like I always knew that I didn't want my main source of income to be one-on-one in-person training forever. Like I've known that for a while, but like I'm actually at that place where like it cannot be. Like I have to stop. You know what I mean? And like I'm having a hard time letting go, dude. Like I still train a lot of clients because I do love it. But yeah, so there's a lot of things that have been shifting.
So I know it's one thing to like see how things are done, wish you could do them better, and like just keep talking to your buddies about like, hey, oh man, I wish I could do it this way, that way. But it's seemingly like with this gym, you're doing it that way. You are like taking that step that never makes it out of the group chat usually, and having that gym actually come to fruition. And March 1st, I mean, that's coming around the corner. And when I saw
Yeah.
that on the plate with everything else, I just really wanted to. I told Austin, I was like, I want to hear about this gym because like it sounds incredible.
This is also your most secretive thing you've done.
Yes.
I found out about this through Welty. Welty told me. He's like, "Did you hear about Tim's new gym?" I'm like, "No. What is?" I talked to Tim yesterday in a group chat. He didn't say shit about this, bro.
Dude, people are murmuring all over.
Hey, so look, the gym is and also like, yeah, most things don't make it out of the group chat, but like, let's be honest, it's probably for the best. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm not gonna lie. The gym, I think like just because of Combine Prep and because of Apex, like the amount of content or the amount of social, it just hasn't been as big. And like also it's like it's not open yet. So there's only so much you can do to really build up a space prior to it opening. And like those things that you can do is what, and I've got some more content rolling around just around. In fact, we're doing like a documentary. It's gonna be insane. So just it'll be very sick. But like I always said I never wanted to own a gym.
Look at you
Okay.
now. Look
Listen to
at you
this.
now.
And but you like, dude, have you ever met anyone who owns a gym and is happy? Like, not really, you know? Like it's fucking hard. It's expensive. And unless you do everything right, which equates to you have a lot of money to start with. It's really hard to grow and make the amount of time that's going to go into putting that gym together, maintaining that gym, hiring, firing, the whole deal. It's going to be difficult to make it work and to grow unless you have the ability to do it right from the beginning, right? Um, and there was a group, two people who wanted to open a gym here in Texas, here in Austin, and I know them, and they were working with someone else, and so some industry people, and it fell apart. And when it fell apart, they came to me, and I was like, "Look, you guys, I already have a lot going on. Yes, I've always." The only time I've ever thought about like owning a gym, like it would have to be under a specific set of circumstances, right? So I've daydreamed about having my own gym and my own playground and how cool that would be. The actual act of doing it though and being responsible for it, I'm out. Um, and then I got presented with this opportunity where it was essentially like, look, like we want to do something special. We want you to be the visionary. We want you to hire. We want you to develop. We want you to handpick all the equipment, the turf, the layout, all the cardio equipment. We need you to run it, right? And I'm like, okay, like all this sounds really good. I get basically a blank check to do whatever I want to do. Here's the problem. I've been in management. I've done it. I spent many years at Lifetime as a manager. I'm not managing people day to day, and I need to hire the people. So anyway, we get to the finish line, and I tell them no. I'm like, no, I can't do it. And like, it wasn't because the offer wasn't really good or like it wasn't really exciting. It was because I felt in my heart that between the podcast, Apex, and Combine, there's no way I could sign my name on the dotted line in good faith and feel confident that I'm going to be able to show up the version of myself that I need to make this thing happen. And I told them that verbatim. And so they responded to me. They said, "Can we change your mind?" I'm like, "Perhaps, let's talk. I mean, let's just see. And essentially what we were able to work out, and this is the reason why I decided to start this venture with them, is they want to use me essentially as the person to make it go. I get to call the shots. I've already hired all the managers, memberships, operations, personal training manager. Alec freaking Blennis is gonna be a coach at the space. Are you kidding me? I've been able to fully staff the place. I got to hand pick the equipment. I got to fly to Canada. I picked out all this Atlantis equipment. Aleco is headquartered here in Austin, Texas. They obviously sponsor the pod. They completely outfitted the whole gym, the turf. There's 10 squat racks, benches, dumbbells, everything. It's going to be insane, right? But here's the kicker. And I had this written in the contract, boys. I am not going to be day-to-day micromanaging anything. My job is to hire the right people to do the right job. I'm going to manage them, but I can't be there 24/7. And they were like, done. So I said, yes. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, that's a pretty fucking sweet gig right there.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy saying it out loud. Now, here's the truth, though, guys. Like, it's not. It's in my nature. Like, I'm gonna be living in that motherfucker. They knew that too. Like we've since like kind of like joked about it. Like, there's no way I'm going to put my name on something, and especially something as special as being able to build your own gym and me not be invested to the highest degree on how it's operating day to day and what the culture is like and just the overall vibe and feel of how special the space is going to be. Also, my podcast studio, we're building out a podcast studio in the space.
Oh, that's
So
so
now,
nice.
yes, dude, yes. So like what we're going to do, Austin, next time you're in town, the Train 'em Up series is back. Okay. We're going to have camera crew in there. We're going to record a whole YouTube thing. We're going to work out and then we're going to go upstairs, rip the pod.
Give ourselves
It's going to be
CTE again
perfect.
with Dozier or what?
Yes, dude. Well, I got CTE. You came out pretty clean. You know what I mean? I don't know. You did the barbell did
I
land
had
on your
that
head.
forehead
So
snatch. Bro, also Dozier hopping on the juice now. We're so fucked, Tim. We're so fucked. He's
I
gonna be fucking
so
snatching 500 pounds.
I can't wait.
I'm
I'm
so
so
excited.
excited. It's going to be amazing. That freak of nature is hopping on gear. And by the way, I don't think his podcast. So he has a podcast with me dropping, I think, in 2 weeks, where he like announces it, you know, and he's like dialed. He's already got all his gear. He's got a doctor. He's doing blood work every month. It's not like some insane, absurd stack, but like it's gonna be. I'm just so excited. It's gonna be electric.
Dude, Tim, I've been telling people left and right about how you and I were like fucking around. You got me into the gym like we were like we were there a little late. I can't remember what it was, but we walk in, no music on, lights basically off in the gym, and Dozier's just snatching 315. And you and I are walking up, we're like, what the fuck are you doing, you psychopath? And he's like, oh, just warming up for our cleans today. I'm like, bro,
Warming up.
the 315 snatch. I was like, dude, this is fucking wild.
I've become pretty good friends with Dylan. We've gone out to his house, Kelly and I, and we've gone to dinner, and that guy is as solid as they come. Like he is a good dude. And he's a fucking smart coach, man. It's cool to watch him do his thing.
Yeah, I ran his program for like 3 months. I went KDOT and then I went Dozier for like 3 months after, and it was a fucking blast, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we were just stacking slabs on, bro. But tell me a little bit about the new gym like setup. What is it going to be? Is it going to be
Yeah.
like just athletes and like you have to know a coach to get in type thing? Is it going to be more like a open gym membership, a balance between the two? Like what's the thought process, or is it still kind of being worked out?
So it's definitely going to be like an open gym membership.
Yep.
I just have everything that I need to be able to facilitate athletic training at the highest level, but it's not like the focus. The focus is going to be regular ordinary gym experience, except better than anywhere you've ever been.
Yep.
And like the investment on that has really been the equipment, where it's like there isn't going to be a place in Austin, Texas that has better equipment than us. Full stop, right? And like I'll send you guys some renderings after this. It is insane, over the top nice. The locker rooms, the recovery, the cold plunge tubs, the sauna, everything. It's gonna be unfreaking real. Um, but yeah, like it's gonna be a nice gym. Like the gym membership is not gonna be cheap. Personal training is gonna be pretty expensive. It's gonna be an elevated experience. Except for when you show up and you and I just start ripping off t-shirts and throwing cleans around. You know what I mean? Like
We
we're
get kicked out of your
definitely
own gym.
we be the noise complaint. But that's the other thing too. So I've been to gyms, collective, had a touch of this. The North location, not so much, but like even though it's going to be really nice, the culture I want, like we're not doing pretentious, we're not doing stuck up. We have a zero asshole policy, right? Like if you're a problem, you're out.
You're
Like
gone.
your membership will be revoked, brother. So like it's gonna be nothing but pure vibes. It's gonna be a fun environment. It's gonna be for the person who takes, working out and training seriously, but also wants to do it in a space where that's like nice. So I'm fucking pumped, man.
Yeah, that's going to be fucking absolutely badass. And from there, will you be doing your combine training there in the future, or is it still going to be at C4? You bouncing back and forth?
I'm going to bounce back and forth a little bit. Not so the the cool thing is that with C4 and my time there, we've partnered with C4 Energy for the combine.
Yeah.
So they're going to be sponsoring XPE moving forward for all of their supplements. And we're going to be making like, co-branded merch. It's like XPE, C4, all the coaches will have it, all the
Sick.
players are going to get it. C4 is going to have the opportunity because C4 has really become the energy drink for athletes, right? That's been their whole thing where they want to make a big investment in basketball and football. And like, they've signed Saquon and like they're doing it. So it was like kind of perfect timing where, and then some things that we're gonna do is C4. Have you guys ever seen like Paths to Draft on
Yeah. Yep.
Netflix?
Yep.
So my pitch to them for the content side, I was like, guys, they have a content team in house. I'm like, you guys need to capture what it's like day one for the coaches and athletes in here, capture the intensity and like how important this process is and how it can impact millions of dollars on someone's first contract, whether they do well or don't at the combine, and tell that story. And they were like, yes.
Dude,
So
that's going to
I
be a
think
gold mine.
I think it's gonna be cool, man. I'm excited. Um, so anyway, to answer your question, yeah, I'm gonna be in between both spaces because like that was the other thing. Like this gym is 24,000 square feet. It's big. The downstairs space, I've got 40 yards of turf in length and another 5 yards with a crash pad at the end. It's going to be electric. And then it's 9 yards wide. And then we've got five Eleiko 12-foot half racks mirroring each other running down either side of that turf. I'll absolutely be able to facilitate NFL offseason and combine training there. But even then, like with a busy gym, like I can't have guys doing routes or like, anything in the space. So we're very much so this gym and C4 are collaborating and it's going to be like a mutual thing moving forward. Like we're going to have like C4 energy fridges in this gym and stuff. So there's just going to be a ton of cross pollination.
Dude, that's so badass. It's so cool to hear everything like coming together. Dude, I'm telling you, you need to go back and listen to our first podcast together because it was so cool. Because
I'm
like,
gonna, dude.
you're talking about all this stuff like coming, and then it like actually happens. It's so cool when that happens. But tell me a little bit about this combine training because that was one thing you and I talked a lot about at the
Yeah.
first podcast. Is like your approach to combine training, what it was like, what you were responsible for. How has that changed like now? Because before it was a lot of strength stuff and a lot of vertical stuff that you're working with the athletes on, but it seems
Yep.
like you're taking a lot bigger step into the sprinting side of the realm. You know what I mean? Especially with your own sprint journey, which I think is sick, is like you learn how to do it yourself, and then like yeah, we can
Dude.
go like implement some of this stuff. But what's your approach right now? What's it look like when you're working with these athletes? Are you full hands on? Do you have a bunch of other coaches with you? Like what's that journey like? Because I know, dude. Combine training with some of these athletes has to be fucking insane. Like their
It
schedules and
is.
everything they have going is nuts.
It's going to be all consuming. So it's 2 months, it's 6 days a week. And, it's going to be, and then by the way, like January and February, I have combine. March 1st, my gym opens. So it is like,
March 14th,
there's a,
I'm there. Like, dude.
oh, dude, we're going to lift at the new gym. It's
Oh
going to
hell yeah,
be,
dude.
oh my God.
We have a softball tournament there for people that don't know every March, like the second weekend of March, and every week. So for the last 2 years, I've came and visited Tim, and this will be year three. So we'll rip.
God, what a crazy evolution. 3 years of you coming down to
Bro,
the softball
I
tournament.
know, Tim. I'm like, I'm telling you, I went and listened to that
Fuck.
podcast. I'm like, dude, this is insane.
So there's a lot here. So let me just start real quick. Matt Gates DM'd me, the CEO of XP, and he was like, "Hey, looking to expand to Texas. Would love to see if you'd be interested to chat about it." Yeah, I responded back immediately. I was like, "When are you free to talk? I'm free right now." And he was like, "Here's my number." I called him immediately, and we talked for an hour. So we just hit it off. And he told me what he was trying to do. And essentially, it goes like this: XPE turns away 30 to 40 athletes every year. They only have the one location in Fort Lauderdale. Out of the 13 fastest combine times ever, they have 9, right? So they've got a system and they're doing it well. Um, However, he's sick of turning away guys and leaving money on the table. And there's a lot of opportunity to continue to grow. And Texas is obviously a really great place to do that. Dallas already has a bunch of combine training here, but Dallas historically has been more sports oriented, whereas Austin, it's been blowing up. And so it's been catching up, but there is no space like that here in Austin. So he's like, hey, when can we meet and chat? I was like, you know what? Can I fly out there? He was like, fly out whenever you want. Brother, I was on a plane in 2 days. Okay. And I spent 2 days down there where I was attached to his hip. I even jumped in day two. I was running sprints with Mark Ingram. It was electric. It was awesome, right? So we hit it off. We decided we're going to make this thing happen, and we're going to do it at the C4 Performance Center. And actually, that was the reason why I left Collective. I went to Collective and I said, guys, I've got this opportunity to do combine prep with XPE. Can I do it here? And they said no. They said no. And the reason for that is because it's a membership gym, and they didn't want to have these 12 to 15 future NFL guys taking the whole space over for that time, which is fine. It's the best thing that ever happened because I got to go to C4 Performance Center. It's just been amazing. So
upgrading gyms from Collective, like, I mean, you showed me Collective the first time. I was like, holy fuck, dude, this is the nicest gym I've ever been to. And you're like, dude, no, just wait. We're at the C4. I'm like, bro, what, Tim? What life are you living right now?
And your new gym's going to be nicer.
Yes, it is. It is. It's just missing the football field, you know? We go to C4, and from that time till now, it's just been a lot of planning and like getting pieces in place. And to your point, your question, Austin, about like how I'm approaching it and training, like I have found, so Daniel Bach, Jump Science, 2X athlete, he's someone that I've worked with multiple years for pro day and combine prep. He and I's philosophies are very similar. He's a hell of a coach. He's the best in-person sprint and jump coach I've ever met in my life. He is. He's really good. And so I'm bringing Daniel in to help me. Blaine McConnell is moving here for 2 months to help assist.
To do the combine
I
training?
swear to God. Yes. Blaine, I told him it's happening. He was like, I'm there. I'm just going to be there to help and assist and coach. And so, Blaine, I'm going to have him, it's going to be me and Daniel essentially like running this program. And I'm going to make Daniel kind of like responsible for change of direction and jumps and speed at a big level. And I'm going to oversee the entire program as a whole. And then I have a couple of other coaches and interns that are going to be helping facilitate the whole thing. We're only taking 12 athletes now because it's year one and I want to do it right. I want to knock it out of the park. And the other piece of that is like XPE has a system. Like it is tried and true. I've got the whole workout packet for those 8 weeks. What days are speed days? So like there's an algorithm to follow. And that was actually something Matt and I discussed early on. I was like, hey, like, look, you guys have a play. I want to run the play. However, I need to know that I'm going to be able to make training decisions based off what I'm seeing. He said, absolutely, I wouldn't have it any other way. Right. So yeah, but I mean, dude, for the athletes, it's basically 2-a-days where it's like Monday is linear speed, max velocity, I should say, linear speed, and then lower body lift. Tuesday, change of direction, 5-10-5 L drill stuff. You know what I mean? In the morning, upper body lift later that day. Wednesday, it's mostly like a recovery, stretch, yoga, soft tissue work day. Thursday, it's hard acceleration, heavy resisted acceleration, and then another lower body day. Fridays, it's upper body, and then they're on the field for field work. And then Saturdays, it's like get a pump, arms, abs, just get them in the gym, make sure they have an excuse. Like you need them getting up for Saturday morning, You don't want them.
Friday night gets a little too fun.
You got it. That's right. You got it. That's exactly right. But it's been an effort, because, and again, this is me running all this, and I've actually recently hired an assistant, so hopefully I'm going to be able to like offload a lot of this. But it's like I had to get the meal prep service, I had to get the hotels, I had to, so like there's a lot of orchestrating. And honestly, like that's the most difficult part, because when push comes to shove and the guys show up and it's time to train, That's the
Easy
easy part,
part.
man.
Yeah.
That's it. It is. It is easy. It is. It is. It's managing all of those personalities, keeping people on track, and making sure that the week to week flow is professional and organized as it can be. That ultimately is what makes or break a really good combine prep or not. Because if you're disjointed, if you're unorganized, if you don't have a reason for what you're doing and why you're doing it, and you're able to explain those things and be consistent, it, it's going to be chaotic. And that's just something you can't have when the stakes are that high, you know?
A bit in the weeds on what you just touched on. You said like the meal prep services, the hotels, and you said basically 2 months. I was really curious on like how all that works. Like, are they cooking their own food? Are they like staying in just a hotel room for, 2 months? Or are they, how does that all works? I know it can get pretty dreary when you're like sitting in a hotel room by yourself for that extended period of time. And obviously these people are hopefully vying to make millions of dollars. So I'm assuming the circumstances are a little different. But even so, I was just like, could you get in the weeds at all with any of that?
Sure. So essentially, it's like an extended stay. Like they have a fridge, they have a microwave. Their meals, all their meals are so at the beginning of every week, they basically have a menu of like 10 to 12 meals that they can pick from. And I have like crafted the calories, the protein, the
Sick.
carbs, fats are low. Yes. Uh-huh. And so I've got all that carefully curated. And they'll be able to pick at the end of every week what they want for the following week in terms of meals. Um, and they'll get 3 meals a day. Breakfast is on them, but that's at the extended stay. They have a stellar breakfast where they're staying. So, like, it'll be lots of eggs and chocolate milk and biscuits and pancakes and waffles and bacon and shit. Um, so, 4 meals a day, they're covered. And then we do protein shakes for them at the gym post workout. Right. And so, shout out C4 for that as well. We'll be loading them up on Reese's peanut butter puff flavored way concentrate, and so much creatine. Have you guys heard of creatine?
Dude, it's like a new supplement coming up, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like the research seems pretty promising. I hear that it might work.
It's a steroid,
Anyway,
right?
it is. It is. It's pretty much illegal. I hope the NFL doesn't start testing for it. Anyway, so yeah, it's really all it's completely comprehensive. Um, you know, here's the thing, man. Like they're at the facility most of the day. And they come in, they're there for the morning 3 to 4 hours. They go home for 2 hours. Home, I mean, 15 minutes away in the extended stay for about 2 hours. They have enough time to eat, maybe catch a nap, play some video games, right? Then they're back and then they have to warm up. We do whatever workout they're doing, and then they cool down. So like that's like 8 to 10 hours a day, you know? So for the most part, like they're not just like in the hotel room. And then fortunately, because this generation is effectively all iPad kids at this point, they can just go back to the room and scroll TikTok, dude, or get on the sticks. Like they'll play 2K and then you know what I mean? And like for most of them, like they're not from this area, which is like great. You don't want people coming back home to where they went to high school. And it's like, what, you know what I mean? That's like never like that's
Right when
almost
they're
always a
about to
bad
make
idea.
millions of dollars too.
Exactly, dude. They're like, yeah, without going out with the boys to Sixth Street in Austin, not ideal, not ideal.
Idea.
Yeah, they're getting lots of touch points. I think too, like the staff that we have, like being able to provide a sense of community for them and making it be a place where they can be themselves and like we can cut on NBA young boy and rip our shirts off and throw some cleans around. You know what I mean? Like creating a space that they're excited about is really important. And I think it goes a long way when it comes and like the communication too is like it's just 8 weeks, guys. And JB, Jordan Bush, who's now at play in Exos in Georgia, I did a combine prep with him and Mo Wells, and he did such a phenomenal job of being that sounding board for guys. And every single session, he was like checking it off on the whiteboard as they got closer and closer and closer. And it was like kind of anchoring people every day before they went back home. Like time's running out, and you have to make the most of this, and it's not going to be much longer. I think that helps a lot.
Oh yeah.
With you saying that you had those decisions to like make those day-to-day performance like in the moment coaching decisions, how much does that change the programming going forward? Because I know you said they have this like
Yeah.
solid playbook, time improving system. So how much does that like do you anticipate that changing with you doing some or like adding addendums, appendixes, like making changes going forward?
I think there's an opportunity. I mean, to the precise extent that I think that it needs to happen. So, like, I'll give you some more context. Matt, and again, credit to him, he's flying up at the end of this week. He'll be here the fifth, sixth, and seventh, or fourth, fifth, and sixth. Anyway, I'll confirm. But at the end of the week, and what we're gonna do is because, like, they have their workout programs based on the square footage they have, the facility they have, the pieces of equipment that they have in the facility that they have, and years of understanding the flow of like how one exercise should move into the other based on the layout of the gym itself. It's like all these little things that you don't think about. But actually, when it comes to programming and programming for groups of athletes, like you want to get into the optimal conversation, like those things make a program optimal or operate smoothly, or don't based on the decisions you make there. So he's flying up, and for 3 days, he and I are just going to train together. And we're
Oh, fuck
essentially
yeah.
going to do yes. And like all the other coaches are going to be there, save for Blaine. He's still in Iceland. He'll catch up pretty quick. But we're gonna be using the ohms. We're gonna be doing the shred mill. We're going to train. It's going to be like a 3 day intensive, and we're going to go through painstakingly through that whole workout program. And I'm going to be able to say to him, "Hey, Matt, like I know that you like this on this day based on this equipment, but like actually that's going to be a bottleneck, and I think it's going to end up taking too much time. So we need to replace it with X, Y, and Z." And so we're going through that process together. So I'm going to feel really, really good about being able to have something that's personalized to the space we're working in while also being able to put my mark on it. But here's the thing. I don't need to feel like it's mine or like, you know what I mean? Because like, it doesn't fucking matter. You know what matters? The results. Like, so as things happen, I'm sure there are going to be things where like guys come in and they're way more beat up than expected, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to cut the volume 20 to 30% today, and we're not going to do these 3 exercises because their hamstrings are still trashed. Like that stuff's going to happen. So I think in combination between like us working, and again, credit to Matt, someone who, by the way, has been doing this for 15 years, being open to fly up here and for me to be able to say, "Hey, I think we need to change XYZ," and him being on board with that.
I
So
feel like that's
he can
unheard of.
very, yeah, it is. It's a very, it's a very special situation that I'm in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that's badass. I want to dive into just a little bit. What has been your biggest eye opener when it comes to speed training recently? Just because that has seemed like your not only your coaching thing, where now you're taking over a lot of this speed training. If you're working with XB, like they are known for their speed factory, like that's the thing
Hmm.
they're known for. But you have also like gone down the personal rabbit hole of speed training, and I know it was
Hmm.
like again, I'm relating it back to like when we talked 2 years ago or 3 years ago, where it's like you were just getting started in a lot of the speed stuff. And you, because I remember I was asking you, and I think you were saying like it was a little bit hands off with some of the speed stuff, and now it's like you are hands on, like your hands are in the speed stuff. What have
Dude,
been
I
the
got
biggest
the
eye openers, especially working with because you've worked with two of the top combine people now, like Exos
yeah.
and XP, like two of the top, like those people know how to get people fast. Like what has been the eye openers there, and the podcast I'm sure has been super helpful too. If you just have a bunch of freaks on telling you all this stuff.
Dude, I've learned more from trying to get myself fast than anything, to
Yeah,
be honest.
same with the oldies for me.
Because like I'm not like gifted. You feel me? Like no one's ever accused me of being the fastest guy on the field. You know what I'm saying? I've had to really work, and I've had to workshop, and I've hired multiple coaches to train me and coach me. Daniel has always more or less been in the picture. Cody Bidlow, Matt Clark, like people who are particularly track and field guys. One of the things I learned, and this wasn't even from them, this was my own experimentation and something that just like dawned on me. I was perpetually running maximum 40 yards and like fly tens at 40 yards, right? And but I one day I remember pushing it. This is probably a year and a half ago. Where I was like, well, let me just time 40 to 50. And I ran my fastest fly 10 ever. And I had this moment where I was like, wait a fucking minute. Because at the time, my goal was to run 22 miles an hour, right? Which I finally did. It was awesome. I'm like, wait a fucking minute. Here I am. Why am I running fly 10s with a 30-yard build? Why? Because that's what everybody does. It never dawned on me until I tried that and ran that faster time. I was like, well, if the goal is to run as fast as possible, but I need more time to get up to my fastest speed, then am I even actually training at max velocity, or am I just training at the fastest that I can get through 40 yards? The answer is pretty obvious. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not actually training max velocity. And I've made a few posts about that where it's like, you know, I think just because of football and just this is what coaches do and this is what people train for. And the 40 is such a, like it's become the test outside of track and field for speed that people assume just like, okay, like, yep, we're running max velocity today. It's 40 yards. And my big pushback would be, no, the fuck, it's not. I don't know many athletes who are going to run faster 30 to 40 than they are 40 to 50. On the contrary, almost everyone I've ever worked with is going to run faster 40 to 50 than they do 30 to 40. Now, the pushback on that is like, well, we want them to be able to get to top speed over that course. Okay, that's fine. Still continue to train the same way you would, but don't kid yourself. Instead of just saying, this is max velocity, you should be operating from the place of what distance does this athlete in front of me need to get to their true max velocity so that we can actually train it and then still do all the other stuff. But if you're just doing a 30-yard buildup because that's just what you do, you might not actually be training true max velocity. Most sprinters need more time than that to get to true max velocity.
Dude, any athlete I've worked with, so we only have, and because one of the things you were saying, why does everybody do it? It's like, I also feel like a lot of it's just their space constraint. You know what I mean? And so like they'll get programs like, well, you have way more fucking, like, why are we, you have a whole football field. You're working with a collegiate football team. You have 100 yards to work with. What are we doing? Right? But like in our space, we have a 27-yard build. It's the only like, if you start pushing that build a little bit longer, you kind of crash into the wall. But any of our athletes that run a sub 1 in that 27, they're not reaching, dude. We have a dude that is reaching 22 miles an hour in that 27 yards, and he's not even close.
Whoa!
He's a fucking animal. I like an
holy shit.
He is an actual animal. This dude is a freak. He's a 3-time soccer All-American, but he total mental head case. He's gonna listen to this and get mad at me for not shouting him out again. But dude, he's sprinting. But dude, he runs a 27-yard build with a 10-yard fly, and he's not even close. He's still accelerating. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so if you're working with a bunch of earth-bending football guys, maybe you're hitting that top velo. But any athlete that can actually open up, dude, I am telling you, they're not getting close in that time frame.
And like, look at but it's bizarre because it's like you listen to every speed coach that justifies running max velocity as the speed reserve. So if you're running faster, if your top speed gets faster, then all of your, other speeds also get faster, everything you do. And I'm thinking, you moron, you're not even training true max velocity. If you believe in that, then why wouldn't you afford your athletes the opportunity to just try it? Just instead of a 30-yard build, do a 35. Tell me which 10-yard fly is faster. Tell me which peak velocity is higher. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was like my biggest revelation. And by the way, when I started running longer distances, I got faster, not only over that 40 to 50 or that 50 to 60, but my 30 to 40 got faster.
Yeah. Do you, when you're working with these athletes now, are you building out like a specific, like, way where like, the yardage where they're hitting their peak velo? Cause let's say maybe you have a guy that once he gets to like a 60-yard build, it's too much. He starts to slow down at that point. Like, have you figured that out with most of your athletes? Cause that'd be kind of a cool little individual profiling.
It is individual.
Yeah.
So yes, I do when I have the time. Though I found like for most athletes, that 40 to 50 yard range is going to be where they actually
peak.
That's where they're going to run their now. It is different. Some people it's like it's 35 to 45. For some people it's actually like 50 to 60. Like Zayden runs his fastest 50 to 60 yards. Now he's a track guy. Like he's a legitimate, he's a 60-meter, 100-meter sprinter or long jump. He was number 2 in the long jump last year in high school. In high school, he's at Rutgers now. So it is different athlete to athlete. And I think the kind of athlete you're working with, like you're stronger, more muscular, blah, you know what I'm saying? Guys are probably going to, peak out around that 35 to 40 range. And then but like you're more elastic, really springy guys that seem to it's going to be closer like 45, 55, 50 to 60.
Does that ever change like the amount of sprinting they're doing? Because like it may not seem like a lot, but especially if someone's going, 50 to 60 yards versus 30 to 40, that is going to be like a 30-40% increase in volume. So do you ever have those guys do less volume, quote unquote, or are they still hitting 3 to 4 reps of that, like, or a specific time, or are you going a specific
You nailed it.
distance?
No, you're spot on. So it'll just be like a rep 1 or 2 less. And I'll do it actually based on how they're performing. Like usually reps 1, rep 2, you're getting faster. Rep 3 is almost always going to be your fastest rep. Not always, but we'll run that 4th rep. And if that 4th rep is faster, great. If it is even slightly slower than the 3rd, we're done. Particularly at those longer distances, because it's not even, because I think this is another thing people don't think about, because it's so easy to just think about it in like the amount of yards or meters accumulated. But what gets lost is like the intensity it takes to run, 30 to 40, at max effort, and 40 to 50 at max effort. The combined intensity of 30 to 50 relative to 30 to 40 is also so much more taxing than just that 30 to 40.
It's like a 90% squat versus a 100% squat. You know what I mean? There's
yes,
a massive
dude,
difference.
yes.
Yeah.
Totally, dude. Totally. So it's not even about like, yes, the total accumulation of yardage or meters does matter, but it's actually the total accumulation of meters and yards in that most intense place that also, I think it matters even more.
That makes a ton of sense.
And you mentioned the shred mill. Is that something new to your philosophy? I know that's
Totally
XP's
new.
like biggest thing. Like what has been the learning process with the shred mill?
Well, dude, admittedly, I haven't even gotten on it yet because I've fucked up my calf, right? And like the whole thing on that is like you're accelerating hard, which is like the thing I can't do right now. I'm close, boys. We're almost back. So, in fact, my hope is that as Matt gets in here by the end of this week, I'm going to be able to actually get on it and play around with it. I got to watch them use it when I went down there, and immediately I understood why it can work. And the reason being is like it tells you immediately how much force you're putting out and like how fast, like the difference between your right and left foot and like how fast you're able to move the belt at a certain speed. And so it becomes a competition. Dudes are going full send on that thing, striking down and back as hard as they fucking can. And it's like, oh, okay. Like that, there it is. That to me is the magic. And look, like this is coming from someone who hasn't used it yet. I've only watched, but immediately like there's like 8 dudes standing around and they're like only 2 weeks in and they're all chirping at each other like he ain't gonna do it, he ain't shit, blah blah blah. And then he hits it, he turns around, he's like, oh, like getting high, like, yeah, sign me the fuck up like that. Yeah, I'm in. That's all I needed to see. So I'm excited to actually get my feet on it and start spinning that thing, but yeah, more to come there.
Yeah,
it does
that'll
look
be badass.
sweet.
It's kind of sick. The 2 things you mentioned, your Apex talking about like CrossFit, like and the leaderboards like, dude, I've looked at CrossFit for so long and being like, no shit, it works, dude. It's like you could have the dumbest, some of them are the dumbest possible workouts, but it doesn't matter, dude. You give somebody
100%.
a fucking leaderboard and a point to go in, and they will go fucking do it to the max possible ability they can. And you just shift it into like, that's the whole thing. Like I try to base it's like take that same philosophy and apply it to something like Apex, where it's like a little bit smarter training and smarter testing, but it doesn't matter because you're
Yes,
going to get that intent out of people and the gamification. Same thing with that treadmill. I didn't even know it gave you the data points back. So that's
it
super dope.
does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it is really cool. It's pretty sick. And he's created like, Tony Vigliani's, it's really his baby. And it's Tony and Matt that are XPE. And Tony has been using it for velocity profiling for so long. He can put it on a certain setting at a certain angle with a certain resistance. And if you run a certain speed, he can tell you precisely what area of your sprint and strength training program you need to focus on to improve your speed. It's like, it's
That's
pretty
badass.
fucking wild. So I've got a lot to learn on that thing. But I also got the vibe. I'm like, okay, like it's kind of an algorithm. Like once you see, like based on the resistance profile and the angle, and then what athletes put out, you're going to get a really good idea of like where their area of opportunity is. And then once you get it down, it's like clockwork.
Dude, area of opportunity is a badass way to like phrase that because that's so true. It's like the low hanging fruit to be able to go grab in those 8 weeks. And if you can get that, you can make a lot of people a lot of money. Last thing on the podcast I
Yeah,
want to ask you
especially
about.
when they're good athletes like that. Okay, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. I just want to make sure I don't keep you here too long. But I want to talk about your calf and your training and your Apex coming up. Your Apex training. How you feeling? How you doing? Are you ready for the Apex?
So, you know, I here's what happened with the calf. I got mono. My
You
girlfriend
scared the
gave me
fuck out of me,
mono.
dude. You scared the shit out of me. I was like, dude, no, not Tim.
Not idea, not ideal. And then not only did she give me mono, but like I'm just getting on over mono, and then she got a stomach bug, and she was like, "Oh, I think I ate something funny. Like my stomach's been messed up for a couple days." Motherfucker, I got whatever she got. I shat straight water out of my butt 3 days in a row. I mean, constantly on the toilet, boys. It was terrible. I couldn't even sit down. My ass hurt. Okay. The next day, my stomach finally feels better. I go to sprint because, like, it's 3 weeks. I got to get ready for Apex. My first 100% effort sprint, my third step, my foot hits the ground and it didn't even hurt. It felt like I thought my chain hit the back of my leg with the sprints I was doing. And so I stopped dead in my tracks. And I realized that because I had that thought, I'm like, oh my God, I tore my Achilles. Because that's what everybody says, that they thought something
I
hit them
know
in the
Jake
back of the
just made a
leg.
post. Yeah, what it sound. Oh my god.
And so I'm standing there by myself like a statue in the middle of the field at C4, scared to like reach down and grab my Achilles. And I finally do. And I'm like palpating. I'm like, is my Achilles intact? I'm like, it is. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to shut this workout down. That was a little scary. I'm done. I go to take a step, tremendous pain, couldn't walk. I was like, oh, I did fuck something up. So anyway, I had a partially torn gastroc tendon and a grade 2 strain of the gastroc itself. It's been almost 2 months now. I'm at a place where I still can't accelerate hard. So something about being in that dorsiflex ankle position for like loading that tissue where the injury happened, like that tendon's still not 100%, but I am able to do kind of like a rolling start into some easy like fly tens. But I've taken this opportunity. I was like, okay, I never do cardio. It's definitely my weakest point. The mile is literally 25% of your apex score. Okay. And so is the 40, like, but they oppose each other, right? I was like, I'm going to take this opportunity to improve my cardio, to improve my body composition, and get healthy. Because like I had other nagging things that I just wasn't addressing because I was getting so much progress still on my sprinting. I was belligerent. I was like, my new goal is 23 miles an hour. I'm going to run 23 miles an hour. And I probably pushed it too far for too long. And I know that because like I was getting tendonitis in my Achilles. I was getting tendonitis in both of my hamstrings. I was getting like, you know what I mean? Just like all these little nagging aches and pains, but I was still getting progress. So I was like a dog with a bone. I didn't want to let it go. And then I finally had like the injury, right? Which by the way, that's all something, if it was one of my own athletes, I would have made them stop. We would have shifted training long before that, but I'm a moron and I can't let go. Um, so I'm almost back. My body composition's way better. I actually have some cardiovascular fitness for the first time in probably 10 years, which is really, really awesome. And yeah, I'm leaner. I'm feeling pretty strong. My cardio is up, and I'm at a place where I'm hoping I'm going to continue to build this engine out. And then Joe Padula dropped Apex Ready. So this is the first officially licensed Apex program. And I've had conversations with a lot of other coaches about doing something like this, but honestly, guys, I've been so busy. Joe called me. He was like, listen, I'm making this program. I'm already building it. I'm dropping it because I'm going to use it to get ready for the next Apex competition in April. I want to collaborate with you and Apex on it. Can we do it? I said, absolutely. You just made my life easier. So it's an officially licensed Apex program. I'm going to help promote it. I'm sending it out in all my email lists. I'm posting about it. And I'm not going to lie, guys, I went ahead and got it myself and I'm looking through it. It's a work of art. Padula, that motherfucker, man, he continues to impress me. He is such a good coach. The volume is reasonable. I'm really excited. So I'm hoping Monday I'm going to be able to like ease into that and start training to get ready for April. And I mean, I'm going to be honest, like I created Apex for myself. Like I did it because I wanted to have something to train for and I wanted to create a community of people who were just excited about it as me. But when I go and I compete in April, I'm trying to fucking win. Like nothing in my life has motivated me to run a fast mile ever. Fuck that shit. Now I'm running, boys. You know,
5:30.
no chance, zero chance, zero chance. So in fact, the best mile time from the first event was 5:51, and it was a CrossFitter. But what's going to start to happen is like, dude, guys, this thing is blown up. Like Justin Gatlin is DMing me. When's the next one? Which is what I want to happen. Like I want people to be able to, someone who's just like, who used to be an athlete and wants to continue to train like one, and they're lining up against a former gold medalist sprinter. I want someone who's been a marathoner, runner, hybrid athlete their whole life, who takes a look at running a 40 and jumping and throwing that med ball and they go, that looks fun. I want to try that too. And I think the way that I've organized the events between the 40-yard dash, the med ball toss, the broad jump, the vertical jump, the trap bar deadlift, the bench, and the mile, like there's something for everyone. And no matter like what you're good at, it's going to give you the opportunity to train for that other stuff and get better for it. So I'm excited. I think 2026 is going to be a big year. We're going to try and do 4 events. I'm going to compete at least one of them. I would like to compete at the first and last one, I think. But we'll just see, if I can stay healthy and, if I'm able to, just from a time perspective.
Last question I had here, I'll bring it back a little bit with your injury. One thing I like to ask people when they're trying to come back from that is like building the confidence back after an injury, right? Like I know the first time you're going to have to excel is it's going to be in the back of your head, and just getting to talk to athletes or just anybody who's dealing with any sort of injury, just other people's process for that. I think that's super useful just to hear.
The the only way that I've ever been able to overcome something I'm afraid of is by exposure. Full stop. And like that graded exposure for me right now, what it looks like is gone from like the smallest jump rope, pogos you've ever seen to now like I'm doing, about 50, 60% single leg hops, right? And like I'm still not at a place where I feel entirely confident that I can accelerate as hard as possible. I'm just trying to be, as conservative as possible coming back with this thing. But like here, this is a side note, but I think it applies. I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Most people think that looks like you got to flick a light switch on and off 3 times before you go outside, or else you think your whole family's going to die, which is true. Many people do have that. That's just not how it manifests for me. All my stuff is in my brain and in my head. And there is something called exposure therapy. And that is the gold standard for overcoming and learning how to deal and navigate a life when you have obsessive compulsive disorder. And exposure therapy, as you might think, is directly exposing yourself to the thing that's causing you to suffer. And so for me, like it has been on the physical side, mentally and emotionally, I've gone through that journey. On the physical side, every time I've come through a physical injury, the only way is just by actually doing the thing. You have to do the thing. And I think that's where so many rehab programs fall short. Someone like David Gray does an incredible job of this. Coach Quentin Willie, Coach Q, he's been helping me with the programming side of things, getting back from this one. And as soon as possible, he had me doing lateral skater hops. Like I was still limping and I was doing lateral skater hops because it wasn't loading that tissue directly. So I've been very aggressive in terms of making sure I'm doing everything that I can. I've been conservative and making sure that I'm giving myself enough time to do the things that I eventually need to do, but I haven't shied away from doing them as soon as I can.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's pretty sick with everything else on the table that you got going too. So that's pretty badass. And I'm excited to see where Apex goes, especially where the new gym goes. I'm excited to check it out. When we I think I'm there March 14th. I think that's the weekend that I'm there. So I'll definitely come hit you up and train with you. And then the combine
Gotta
stuff,
do
dude,
it.
it's going to the fucking moon, and I'm pumped and thankful to have you as a friend, dude.
Same, dude. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys listening. Keep chopping wood.
Thank you for listening. Join us next week as we dive down another rabbit hole. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a 5-star rating. Follow us on Instagram at Austin Yoakum to stay updated on future podcast guests. Keep chopping wood.